right, 7 o'clock in Gardner, Kansas. Call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. All right, we will get started here. We've got no presentations, no public hearings, so we will move to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. If you wish to come forward, please state your name and address for the record. 5-minute time clock to your left, am I right? The podium is now open. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move to consent agenda. Is there an item on the consent agenda council would like to remove? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Shoot, second McNear. We approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Consent agenda passes. No planning and zoning consent, no committee recommendations, no old business. We'll move to new business. New business item number 1. Consider executing a renewable energy power purchase agreement with NextEra for firm power, capacity, and energy. Gons.
If you may recall, November 18th, KMEA did a presentation summarizing City of Gardner's current power supplies, portfolio, and future needs. They covered significant changes to the Southwest Power Pool, SPP, as they focus on reliability after the winter storm Uri of 2021. The reserve margins for capacity are increasing during summer months. They went from 12%, they will be increased to 15% in 2023, and now 16% in 2026. These changes and significant load growth that the electric industry have not seen in decades, that include artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, data centers, crypto mining, and the transition to renewable energies, retirement of older fossil units, are adding to the increase in cost of energy and capacity. With the new reserve capacity margins required by SPP, the existing City of Gardner capacity agreements will expire in the GRDA will expire in 2026. A variety of options were presented in November 18th. One included a PPA with NextEra Ninaca Flats for a flat-scale solar project for 15 megawatts allocation, 30 years term, and a COD January 1st, 2027. Besides the Ninaca Flats option, the master plan includes some other options. On the table below, you will see the solar option. One is the NextEra. Like I mentioned, 15 megawatts capacity, 30 years. Their energy cost per megawatt hour is $50. On the second Evergy PPA and buyout, they're proposing building a solar facility. On the 11th year, we can go ahead and purchase a facility. The energy cost will be $57.63. The third option, City of Gardner, will be we will build our own solar facility. It's 9 megawatts, and the energy cost is $58.11. Then Evergy had another proposal. They will build it and then transfer. We will buy from them. The energy cost was $62.85, and the last option was Evergy doing a PPA similar to NextEra, but the energy cost per megawatt hour was $65.52. As you will see, the first option is the least cost for the city. In addition, option 1 through 5 do not include city development activities such as acquiring 45 acres of land, environmental investigation, clearance, interconnection studies. All the projects have a COD of 2028. Now, KMEA has requested cities to obtain approval from councils by December 31st, 2024. Looking at the 5 options, and it's very clear that the Ninica Flat PPA is the most cost-effective. Staff recommends City Council to execute a PPA with a Ninica Flat solar project.
All right, thank you, Gons. Is there any public comment on new business item number 1? Council, do you have questions? Kind of discussed this previously. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers, and I just want to make sure these are correct, Gons. The numbers you have on the slide that you're showing right now are different. Some of them are significantly different from what we had in our council action.
Correct. So we went back as part of the master plan. I had Kiewit review the numbers.
Okay.
The ones you saw on your packet were my estimates.
Okay,
So these were
these are the key.
verified by Kiewit.
Okay, so the numbers that we have on the slide are authoritative, and these are the ones we need to work with.
Correct.
All right,
But
thank you.
anyway, it won't change the bottom line that Nexera has the lowest cost per megawatt hour.
Yeah, I think the Evergy PPA plus the buyout was the one that moved the most, and it was like $15 per kilowatt hour, per megawatt hour. So, yeah, okay, thank you.
Do we run any risk that option 1, since they're in the process of kind of getting everybody together to be able to get into it, that it falls through, and then we're back to 2 through 5, and then now we're behind?
I mean, there is a risk, but giving them an answer from all the cities from KMEA, I don't know how many cities are participating, but they need a minimum number of megawatts so they can go ahead and build the project. And I think we're close to that magic number.
It's a good question. And to be fair, all of them would have the same quote
Problem.
inherent risk,
Okay.
right? Except maybe the city, because maybe we could do it faster, but then it would definitely cost more.
Yeah, I mean, we have the inherent risk of finding 45 acres of land that we can purchase and build it has its own laundry list of other issues. The option 1, it just seems more of a Christmas miracle almost. Not quite,
Yeah.
not quite that far, but.
So question, Gons, coming back to that. So we have talked about having the rooftop solar option within Gardner. If we were to implement a more aggressive rooftop solar strategy within the community, and that energy could potentially be brought back into the grid, is there a possibility we could alleviate some of that requirement? Or is
Right now, we have about less than 0.5 megawatts.
Yeah, I knew
So
that.
it'll require and that's only close to 40, 50 homes.
Mm-hmm.
So require at least 100,
Sure.
more like 1,000 to
Yep.
meet the 9 megawatts.
So, and I understand, we're nowhere near there. And what I'm saying is that if we were to incorporate a rooftop solar strategy as a promotion of energy efficiency, whatever, not saying there's money behind it, I don't want to put money behind it necessarily, but give the homeowners in the city an option to be able to maybe, maybe help to facilitate some of that action, not with money, as I said, but with promotion. Is there a possibility that we could potentially build enough capacity within that side of things in order to be able to start to alleviate any reliance on outside sources for that renewable piece?
I believe the question was answered when Kiewit did a master plan presentation,
Uh-huh.
and they thought it was not possible to do that.
Probably not before we're retired, possibly dead.
Retired or dead? Hey, the technology's making massive advancements.
I know, but like you said, if you don't put money behind it, then it's all on everybody else's back, and they're busy trying to pay their own bills on what they're doing already. So, I mean, I think there's plenty of people that see the benefit of having solar on their house, but they can't afford it.
Unless there were a way to be able to, sometimes you can help to make money meet the need in terms of like private capital. So that's I think you and I had spoken about that before, Mayor. That there might be some options there. I know there are private entities within the community that are interested in doing that. So just throwing it out there. I think that ultimately, in order to have truly a sustainable non-renewable footprint, you're not going to be able to do it all through industrial solar. It's not going to be possible. So,
I mean, but you're talking, this is a 30-year commitment. I mean, maybe by the time that 30 years is up, maybe.
potentially, but I mean, I'd like to try to get it sooner rather than later.
Mark thinks we're all gonna die.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna, yeah. So, just something to think about. I don't necessarily want to make a commitment like that necessarily if we can potentially come up with another option. But if they're locking us into 30 years here, that's
Well, okay. I don't think there's any real ability to do what you're saying. But if there was, you're basically talking number two. The Evergy PPA, we buy it out, and you hope that enough people pick up 6 megawatts of capacity, not the whole 15.
oh, I totally agree.
But the problem is, if we don't pick that up on everyone's own volition,
Mm-hmm.
now we have to come up with 6 megawatts of capacity and energy, and we don't have a way to do that without just buying it off the grid at that point or getting some other contract.
Do we need 15 now?
Not now, no.
Okay.
When do we need it?
It's a God's question.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be a projection anyway.
Because I'm also thinking about the baseline as well, the baseline expense. So.
Right. I mean, it's 600. It's 50% more per year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just cheaper over the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need it right now, but if we use the worst case scenario on the
Of
master
course.
plan, we would need those 15.
But do you know what time frame we're looking at here?
I don't have the numbers, but it was more like 2028, 2029.
So we're talking 5 years, 6 years.
They give you 5
Yeah,
they
we're
give
not
you 5
talking
years.
year 25. Right?
Yeah.
Soon.
They'll give us 5 years to try to get things going. But, I mean, that option 2 doesn't sound terrible bad because, we have some control, we have a little bit more control. We're not obligating ourselves for a 30-year situation. We get a buyout, so, I mean.
But option 2, keep in mind that under the PPA, Evergy is responsible for the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Any issues, they'll be responsible. Once we buy into that solar facility, the city has to put additional dollars
Mm-hmm.
to maintain maintain the reliability and availability of that facility. So that's something to consider.
So the marginal cost is going to be
They
higher.
may require additional personnel to keep
Right.
it running.
Well, and I guess unless I'm missing something significant here, guys, and correct me if I am, when you look at option 2 versus option 3, rolling our own, option 2 for the same amount of output is significantly less expensive than somebody else has already built it.
Well, same thing with Niska Flats too.
Well, I
But
mean, 2 through 5 are all very similar, right? They're something with Evergy or us. But as you can tell, even Evergy is saying that it's $8 per megawatt hour over the contract,
yeah,
going with the take care of it versus buying it out. So they've done they've got some actuaries that are doing that math saying, hey,
course.
that's worth that.
So you're taking the risk, basically, the risk on 2, you're giving it to Ninnekah Flats.
I'm just asking the questions right now. I'm just trying to understand. Essentially, what I'm looking at is where do we have the most leverage for our interests as a city? And if we're executing into a 30-year agreement, do we have any idea what the back-end rates of that is going to look like?
we haven't run those numbers.
To
Since
answer your
this was,
question, sorry,
no, go ahead.
to answer your question, the best thing for the city, take it with a grain of salt, this is my opinion, would be that you secure the contract that guarantees you what you are projected to need in 5 years, which is, just
I don't
a drop in
disagree.
the bucket in time. And then,
Pursue
if
option
we are
two.
able to do something to reduce 6 megawatts in the future, that's another contract that we talk about. Not this one, because we have to have this, plus those 2 through 5. If you don't have them, there's a chance that 2027 to 2028, we're really in a bind, that we're buying off the market 100%.
So that brings another question to mind. Do we have a risk in 3 to 5 years of having a bigger reserve thrown at us by KMEA and then having to be behind the 8 ball again and be back in the very same situation we're in
Sure.
today?
Yeah,
Well, Southwest Power Pool is the one that's dictating this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask the question. I agree with you, Mark, that doing the option 1 right now is a good thing to do, but I think we ought to be pursuing an option 2 or 3 at the same time and having
Well,
that in our back pocket.
Once you sign a 30-year agreement, you're locked in.
I understand, but what I'm hearing is we're going to very soon have the 15 megawatts of capacity ate up and then some. And what I'm suggesting is that we start planning for that, that additional amount of energy now, and seeing if we can make it work.
Well, yes, and we are, because this is only one piece of the power.
Right.
Pool.
Yeah, we'll talk about the other one here in a minute.
The other one is GRDA. I'll be presenting that next year.
And yeah, unit 2 upgrade and so on. So it's the big picture, but this seems to be the best priced for the least amount of risk.
I agree.
It's essentially the same amount of risk across the board, in give or take, but you get the most for it. You just have to pony up more, on a per year basis early, right?
Yeah, so we'll be spending more on the front end, but potentially less on the back end.
But I mean, the annual energy cost of 2 through 5 doesn't include the land.
No.
Correct.
Well, there wouldn't be land except for option 3. Option
No.
3 is City of Gardner Solar. That would require land.
No, that's
we would have to acquire.
2, 3, 4, and 5. We need to purchase land.
Oh, we will.
Evergy will not purchase
Oh,
land.
okay, that really.
It's up to us to get whatever we can.
Well, the land,
The land is
and
not
the
accounted for in those numbers?
Nope.
you gotta acquire the land, you have to do all the inspections and get all the permits and all that,
Well,
all
that
the
changes
studies.
the numbers.
And then Evergy would build that out and then maintain it.
Yeah, they would just
I
be
mean,
the
that
contractor.
changes.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
okay, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, well, I still would like to
I don't
pursue an actual
disagree with
strategy
you.
for rooftop, because I think that's ultimately where things are going to go with the advancements in photovoltaics and the lowering of cost of the new technologies. I think you're going to see a lot more of that happening.
And I think we can do that concurrently, but for now, I think this is the best option. And continue to look at other options
Yeah.
for future needs.
There is a lot of uncertainty between the period of 2026 and 2033.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows where the energy cost is going to go.
It's going to go up.
It's going to go up, but then there was a presentation by Nexera back in KMEA annual meeting that 2034 it starts going down.
Even with
But-
AI, even with data
Correct,
centers, even
correct.
with electrical vehicles.
But there's a period of 5 years that nobody wants to give you a conventional PPA unless you want to pay premium price, like $80, $90. So the
Oh.
$50.
That's what they're
looks-
thinking about. That's what they're talking about, but there's not any nuclear on this. I think Microsoft wanted to buy 3 Mile Island or one of their reactors to do that.
Yeah, right.
That's not happening right
You
now.
should have one in every neighborhood.
But ultimately,
I'm not kidding.
ultimately, the problem is you got a power grid issue. I think you know this more than anybody else, John Scons. We've got a power grid that's not able to manage the capacity that's needed for all this additional usage. And until they fix that problem, the energy costs are going to continue to increase.
Every neighborhood park has a reactor. No big deal.
I'll put it by your house.
I grew up next to a nuclear reactor.
That's the problem. That's what it is.
Okay.
So, I know this sounds really crazy, but or kicking these kind of things around, there are technologies out there.
Oh, I know.
Uh,
They're called pocket plants. Yeah, they have
yeah,
them.
that are salt type nuclear reactors that could be that could be sized with size.
We're
of
not
our
in that.
needs.
Yeah, that's not germane to this discussion. But
But I'm just
All
saying
right,
that those are things that are down the road.
On the interest of time, let's keep it,
Moving on.
moving forward.
yeah.
All right, so I do hear a motion for this.
So moved. Yes, second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin. We adopt resolution number 2156, authorizing the execution of the Ninisca Flats Solar Project Agreement between the City of Gardner, Kansas and the Kansas Municipal Energy Administration, Kansas, for 15 megawatts, 30 years at a fixed rate of $50 per megawatt hour. City Clerk.
Councilmember Wayne.
Yes.
Councilmember Shu.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Dean.
Yes.
Resolution 2156 passes. Thank you, Goss. New business 2, consider a recommendation to award Unit 2 major inspection and upgrade service contract to Allied Power Group, APG.
So this recommendation came from this is a recommendation that came from the 2024 Electric Master Plan. And what we're trying to, instead of committing the city to a 9 megawatt contract with GRDA, they recommended upgrading the units so we can get, let's say, 5. Then we can always go to GRDA and tell them we only need 4. But it all depends on the numbers. But we're estimating that we can get 2 megawatts per unit. The other issue, besides the recommendation on the master plan, was that during hot summer months, the units cannot operate more than maybe an hour due to because they cannot regulate the loop oil temperature. So the units trip and we're not available. Once the unit trip on loop oil temperature, they're basically out for the count because the temperatures are too high and we cannot control it. So in the master plan, they recommended doing a cooler upgrade. So on August 28th, we requested proposal for the Unit 2 major inspection and upgrade. We received 2 proposals, one from APG, which is Allied Power Group, and Sulzer. I split it in 3 columns to make it easier to see the numbers. APG was asking the upgrade at $2.2 million, $2.3 million. The cooler modification close to $675,000. Options included, they will give us a new rotor or a refurbished rotor, and we'll exchange the rotor instead of taking the rotor out and sending it to the factory. Thus, this will give us, this will help completing the outage before summer of 2025, which makes sense. The total cost for APG was $3.7 million. Sulzer gave us an upgrade of 2.3, cooler modifications $21,070. The options of the rotors was $508,360. Total cost 2.8. However, Sulzer did not propose items 3, 4, 10, and 14. So if we compare the 2 proposals, taking those items out, we have APG has a $2.8 million versus Sulzer $2.7 million. So comparing the numbers, they're very similar. The selection committee reviewed the proposals and unanimously recommended APG for the turbine inspection and major overhaul. The other thing is that APG performed the 9-stage hook fit in 2023, and staff was very impressed by the level of expertise and the flawlessness of their execution. With that, we're recommending APG for the upgrade the Unit 2 major inspections and upgrades for $3.7 million.
Thank you, Gons. Is there any public comment? New business item number 2. Council, questions on new business 2? Nope. Do you have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion McNair, second Deaton. We authorize the city administrator to execute a service contract with APG for Unit 2 major inspection and upgrade service contract in the amount of $3,709,975. City clerk? Nope, this is, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? New business item number 2 passes.
Thank you.
New business item number 3, consider annexation process with landowner consent. Jim?
Good evening. All right, this is a request to annex approximately 186.24 acres on the northeast corner of 175th and Clare. The attached voluntary annexation agreement, you have new agreements in front of you, outlines the terms agreed upon by the city and the property owners as condition for this consent annexation. It includes a de-annexation clause that if we are unable to come to a final agreement on a pilot agreement between the city and CF Gardner, the property owner has the option to de-annex. That will be brought before the council on January 21st meeting. So we believe that we have all the terms of that agreed upon. So the suggested motion, accept the voluntary consent annexation agreement and consent annexation request of CF Gardner and adopt ordinance number 2818. Backing up a little bit, the agreement you have in front of you takes out paragraph 3B of what was in the packet. It referenced a benefit district to help pay for the arterial roads. Over the weekend, we came to a consensus on funding that agreement or funding those road upgrades in a different manner, which will be in the pilot agreement. Had to do with timing and some other issues, so that was part of the negotiation that brought us to tonight.
Thank you, Jim.
And I do have the developer and developer's attorney, Kurt Peterson from Postinelli here if you have any questions for them.
Is there any public comment? Council, do you have questions or comments?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that 3B.
About the what?
So since there's no benefit district, what was the agreement to manage that particular maintenance or construction?
Do we want to talk about that since it's going to be in the pilot agreement?
It's in the pilot agreement.
It's in the pilot?
Yeah, well, I'd rather
Let's
not talk about
discuss
it
that
now
one.
because we haven't finalized the pilot agreement.
Okay,
so-
understood. But it's going to be part of the development agreement, which would include the pilot. And
So it's not going to be a development agreement. It's going to be, all the terms are going to be in a pilot agreement.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. As long as it's taken care of.
Yes.
But it's considered on premises road improvements, and so that would be their responsibility then.
Yes.
Through the pilot.
There's a
Yeah.
degree to which they're contributing to the arterial
Okay.
road network, yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Thanks for working on it. I mean,
Yeah.
Tonight's basically just a good faith on our effort, our part, right?
Mhm.
So that you can keep working down the process, so let's keep going.
Yep.
Do I have a motion for new business item 3?
So move.
Second.
Motion Baldwin, second Shute. We accept the voluntary consent annexation agreement and consent annexation request of CF Gardner LLC and adopt ordinance number 2818. City Clerk.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Wade.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2818 passes. New business item number 4, I'm sorry.
This is just a housekeeping item.
Consider adopting an amended
Yeah.
ordinance for a voluntary annexation of land with landowner consent. Jeff,
Okay,
welcome.
housekeeping item, we annexed a property along 199th Street in 2021. The deed did not account for a 120-foot variation that was part of the neighboring property. This just cleans it up for the county so that we can get that property accurately annexed into the city. This is just amending ordinance 2819 to address that issue.
Thank you. Any public comments? Expect any council questions or concerns?
No new annexation agreement would be needed to do this. Just you're
No.
just changing the description of the land.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Motion for new business item number 4?
So moved.
Second.
Motion shoot, second McNair. We adopt ordinance number 2819, an ordinance annexing land into the city of Gardner, Kansas. City clerk.
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Ween.
Yes.
Councilmember Shute.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2819 passes. All right, that's all for new business. We'll move to council updates. We can start with Gons.
Nothing tonight.
All right. Jason, Parks and Rec.
We've been looking for a headliner for 4th of July for 2025 since basically September. And we finally made an offer and accepted a counter offer this week for our headliner for 2025. So we're just getting the final contract together, the rider, and then we'll start putting together our marketing materials for when we're going to roll it out. So they are on the radio right now, so that's your hint.
Is it same genre music? Of course.
Yeah. And no, it's not Luke Combs or Eric Church. So but they are on the radio.
That's all Greek to me anyway. So. All right. And I did have a question, and maybe this is a public works question, but the
Greenway.
Greenway. Thank you. Yeah.
I knew where you were going.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have any timeline or any alternate routes or detours or anything that we can? Maybe this is not public. Maybe this.
It's a utilities project.
I apologize. Utilities. I apologize.
I don't have it with me right now. But we started preliminary work on the Wynwood project.
Okay. I know maybe we can get that information out. There's just been a lot of questions brought to me and probably other council members about timing and utilization of it, or if there's any other alternative, detours or anything through there.
We plan to put something through social media about what things will be coming in the next couple of weeks. So the public will know about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, we probably just need to get it out there that it'll be done as soon as it can be. And the reason that it's closed, I assume, is for safety for the equipment right next to it, right? It's not because they're doing anything to the trail itself, so.
Well, they'll eventually get across the trail. There'll be parts of it that will have to be impacted, I think. Just where that's coming across.
All right. Thank you. Dave?
Just a quick reminder, the Planning Commission will be meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. It's a little bit unusual. Usually we're on the fourth Monday, but because of the Christmas holiday next week, we schedule that 1 week in advance. So.
Thank you, Dave. Kellen, Public Works?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Thank you. Captain Roberts. Welcome.
Officer Schlusselman will be promoted tomorrow morning to detective, so that's a good advancement for us. The police department adopted a family through USD 231 and delivered those gifts today. And lastly, we offered a lateral officer a conditional offer of employment, and he accepted, so we hope to have him move on soon.
Excellent. Good. Yeah.
Great. What's our current staffing?
I don't have that number right. I think we're down 4.
4? Okay. That's good.
It's better than most municipalities out there.
Better than 6, which I think is what it's been.
Yeah.
Yep.
City Clerk?
We do have a couple vacancies on the airport board and a couple people expiring on our utilities advisory committee. So those have been posted, waiting on some applicants, and then we'll be looking at doing interviews in January.
Okay. Thank you. Finance?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. City Attorney?
Nothing from me.
City Administrator?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Councilman McNair?
Good.
Councilman Ween?
we had a discussion about our fireworks ordinance this evening with a couple of folks, with the captain and the mayor and myself, and then Jennifer Smith and Dave Dorvetta came in. So we had a couple of ideas that were kicked about. I think we'll probably be coming back in front of council for some, at least a change to the ordinance when it comes to the cost of the permit fee for the booths. We'll probably gather some additional information. We can talk about how long it's been there, how many booths we have, stuff like that. So just a little heads up on that. And then lots of good conversation about, having I think, high idea about a good neighbor plan. There's some way in which to get out to the public and talk about, not necessarily, what the rules are, but, just, hey, maybe be respectful of your neighbors and clean up after yourself. Realize that there are some people potentially in your neighborhood that may have special needs who don't want fireworks going off at midnight or 1 a.m. So more to come on that. I think it was a good meeting. So that's good. I'll be looking forward to the Greenway coming back. It's on my workout 6 to 7 days, so I have to find a new route.
All right, thank you. Councilman Shute?
I'd like to work out one of 7 days. And I appreciate your commitment there, Councilman Wing. Wish I could, but my arthritis won't let me. Anyway, Merry Christmas to everyone. I know we're getting close to the holiday. Don't really have a lot, but just wanted to wish everyone a peaceful and joyful and a safe holiday season.
Council Vice President?
Echoing on that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and also we won't see you before the new year. Please be safe out there.
Yes.
The drinking and the driving, let's just not do it in our town or any other town.
Amen.
All right, very good.
That's it.
Shots at Casey's house, got it.
Yeah. But if you do shots at my house, you spend the night.
I can walk home. It's not that far.
Yeah, there's no trails.
No, the trails are good. It's all city streets.
Just don't fall in a sewer hole.
Oh, yeah.
Open manhole cover.
Council President?
Nothing, just Merry Christmas to everybody.
And I don't have anything either, just Merry Christmas. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion Shute, second McNair. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained?